The story of the mutiny on the Soviet frigate Storozhevoy in 1975. In November 1975, a daring mutiny took place on the Krivak-class destroyer Storozhevoy, stationed in Riga, Soviet Union. The mutiny was led by the ship's political officer, Captain Valery Sablin. His aim was to speak out against the corruption and privilege of the Soviet regime. The background of the mutiny. On November 7, 1975, the Soviet Union was celebrating the 58th anniversary of the October Revolution. Half of the 250 members of the Storozhevoy, stationed in the Daugava River in Riga, were on leave. But Captain Sablin, a staunch supporter of Leninist values, chose this opportunity to call for a revolution. He believed that the government of then-leader Leonid Brezhnev had betrayed Lenin's principles of justice, equality, and transparency. Sablin's goal was to take the Storozhevoy to Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, and broadcast a demand for reforms from Kronstadt Island. The start of the mutiny. On the night of November 8, Sablin tricked the ship's captain, Anatoly Potulny, into confinement with a false report. Sablin then presented his ideas to the ship's officers and sailors. When the officers disagreed, a vote was held, and the majority of the sailors supported Sablin. The mutiny officially began. At 2 a.m. the ship quietly left Riga and began moving towards the Gulf of Riga. The Soviet response. News of the Storozhevoy's escape was delayed in reaching naval authorities. A sailor jumped off the ship and informed the authorities, but it took more than 2 hours. When it became clear that the Storozhevoy was heading towards international waters, the Soviet leadership ordered the ship to be stopped. Brezhnev was informed of the incident at 4 a.m., after which the use of force was authorized. Capture and action. The Soviet Baltic Fleet deployed 60 ships and dozens of aircraft. The Storozhevoy traveled silently, but its position was revealed as soon as the radar was turned on. Airplanes began bombing, damaging the rear of the ship. During this time, some sailors freed Captain Potulny, who shot Sablin and ended the mutiny. The ship was brought under control at 10:30 a.m. The aftermath. The Soviet leadership immediately tried to suppress the incident. Sablin was tried for treason and hanged in 1976. The rest of the ship's crew were sentenced, but most were released. Literature and inspiration. This incident inspired American author Tom Clancy's novel, The Hunt for Red October. Although Sablin and Clancy's character, Captain Marco Ramius, had different goals, the story became immortalized in Cold War history. This mutiny symbolizes Sablin's idealism and his courageous step against the Soviet regime which, although unsuccessful, left its mark on history. Like and subscribe.